qualifying and change it to a race setup later. That will be really important if and only if, I guess, it rains. Honestly, I think Miami's a track where the hot lap setup and the race setup's kind of similar in terms of tire wear. So it's usually just minor adjustments, which minor adjustments still get you an extra tenth or two, but like in terms of like overall lap changes, it's pretty much the same. So qualifying has started. We have 18 minutes on the board. I can now start yapping in a very professional manner, hopefully. Let's see who's new. I don't think I've seen Made J Pole. I don't think I've seen actually not that much actually. Roosevelt is new for tier 2. He raced in the tier 1 race yesterday. Apparently it's a wet race. I do not know because I do not have data on that. And so we start the race. We are missing some drivers who are some big names. We're missing, to my knowledge, Josh, and we're also missing Lone Wolf. If you do not know, Pontic... Oh, Lone Wolf's here. I'm sorry. Lone Wolf's actually in the chat, in the game. Pontic, Lone Wolf, Kirsch, and I believe I'm always missing someone. I always forget someone's name. Who am I missing? Huh. I should probably look at the standings. Might as well, nothing else is happening. Let's actually go to our outlap and drivers. Lap data, telemetry, details on the tire, and let's look at the track map. So currently our first driver out is Trip Yachts. He is running the V-Carb. Right behind him, I believe, is his teammate, also in a V-Carb. If I can get to him in time. A Wizzy, who looks like he just hit the barrier in front of me, but he actually looks fine, so I guess he's not. Back to Trip Yachts. Trip Yachts and a Wizzy, my fault. Trip Yachts and Wizzy are both going to be the first drivers across the line. I believe Wizzy's going to slow down a little bit to not get caught in the dirty air. It is important for the slipstream, but in the corners you just lose too much time. Up to him though, you know, he's a driver. Trip Yachts across the line, starting his hot lap soon. It looks like 2 cars are still in the garage. It probably is a Mercedes and a Ferrari. Chicken is in the Red Bull. If you don't know Chicken, he has not raced this year. He also did not race at the end of last year, or season, sorry. Chicken is a tier 1 racer last year who has won actually the opening race and then had a DNF streak of 4 races after and then retired. This will be his debut race return at Golden Racing Leagues in tier 2. So Chicken, in my opinion, is going to be a very good racer off the bat. I have not seen him race in F125, but if his performance is similar to F124, I believe he has a chance of a podium on his debut race. We are still watching Trip Yachts, who is currently on his hot lap, currently going to the sectors. This is the first lap for a lot of drivers. It's a good banker lap. Might be your fastest lap if you set an absolute, you know, monster of a lap. But right now, I think he's trying to set a decent lap to compare. He comes into the main straight. The McLaren moves out the way. The kick Sauber, actually. I can't tell the colors. And honestly, at the current moment, I think that's going to be a pretty good lap for Trip Yachts. Owizzy seems to have fallen behind. I believe he was unable to keep up in the dirty air and probably just do a second hot lap after. Probably just trying to regain his energy. Trip Yachts about to cross the line. And he will achieve a very respectable 128.811. That's a pretty good lap in my opinion. 128. I feel like the pole lap for this race, I'm looking at a 126.5. That's my guess. No other driver has put a lap out yet. It looks like... Let's watch Pontic. Pontic currently is one of our championship competitors. Let me look at the tier 2 standings. I actually do not know who leads the tier 2 championship. Josh is currently our race championship leader. He has 58 points, separated by 1 point by Pontic, who put a fastest lap, a 126.7. He is currently our new pole. So similar to the tier 1 pole position, a 126.7 is Pontic's. Kirsch falls up to 127. Bram, Trip Yachts, both 128, and everyone else was lesser time. Pontic put it on pole with a very impressive lap on his first lap. Chances to improve are always there, in my opinion, but on the first lap, that is a great lap. He just cut the corner, but it's okay. Lone Wolf is third in the championship, 48 points, followed closely by Kursk. So currently, 1 through 4 are split by 15 points. Kursk had fastest lap in Japan, but scored 4th. He then scored 4th again in Bahrain. Pontic won the opening race in Japan, while Josh won the second race in Bahrain. Let's watch some more cars. Here we see Chicken have a snap of oversteer coming out the corner. He is on wets, apparently. I do not know why. Maybe setting a banker lap. This will be his first out lap. I don't know where he just went to, but he's fine. Okay. Let's see. Who else is on a lap? The Diamond Bullet. Let's see if we can catch that one-off helmet design. Kind of hard, but it looks like it's white and gold from the other side of it. Okay. Very similar to Max Verstappen's black and red design. However, it's now white and gold. Very impressive. Kind of gives royalty. We'll cut to his Alpine teammate Starnick later, who should also be running a one-off livery. Diamond Bullet is currently on his outlap. A snap of oversteer there, but it's okay. Kursk making it a kick slobber 2 Drie, puts a 128. Oh, not Kursk, sorry. Roosewel gets a 128.1. He's the fastest in the 128s and puts a P Drie, making it a kick slobber 2 Drie. It's a very impressive for the kick slobbers. Sadly, last race, their second driver was disqualified and his points removed. However, at the current moment, kick slobber has had an amazing Constructors Championship right here. They should also have an effect in the dual Constructors Championships for Tier 1 and Tier 2. So I believe kick slobber is, at the moment, the best team. However, Brian in the Haas and P4 had a very good outing in Bahrain yesterday. He put a P4 of a good race strategy. He couldn't keep up with the top 3. However, he was able to keep the pace, and he was pretty much by himself the entire race, keeping that P5, staying on track. Very good race. We're currently watching Diamond Bullet. He did a 129.04. Currently P7. One thing I wish that the spectators have would be if it had a the sectors. Currently the issue is that when we watch people race, you don't get a sector, so I don't know if someone's saying purple, someone's setting just regular greens. So it's kind of hard to watch qualifying without an indicator of how good a lap is. But Diamond Bullet is currently P7. He is the fastest of the 129s, and he is only 2/10 off P6. Currently, there's 3 cars we are waiting for: Josh, Chicken, Steel Wolf, and May J. Pole to set a lap. Let me quickly check the chat to make sure no one's trying to get into the lobby late. Okay, we're fine. As you see, all the drivers are going to come into the pit soon to change their tires. Let's see if there's a way to indicate how long their tires are. Skip it here, actually. It seems like Brian, jeez, I keep saying Brian. It's the M in his name that messes me up. I see Brian M, it's Brian. Brian, who is currently P4, should be the first car on fresh softs to make a lap. He is currently P4 for 128.1. Second fastest 128, and he's very close to Roosewel, who is P2. Currently, to my knowledge, Lone Wolf is in the lobby. Who are we missing? Who should be here? Josh is not here. Pontic is here. Lone Wolf is here. And Kursk is here. So the only driver in the championship battle who is currently missing will be Josh. He is our championship leader, and he is currently missing. Molsky Verstappen has left the lobby. I wonder what that's about. He did set a lap of 151. I believe there's probably a technical difficulty. If you need to invite, he is more than welcome to ask. "12 people watching the stream. That's probably the majority of the drivers who just want to hear me glaze them. So if you want to be complimented on stream, please do something impressive. I love watching overtakes due to high-speed corners. Just don't crash into someone. That will get you talked about. Josh is in the lobby. I don't know when that happened. I'm not paying attention. But Josh is in the lobby, and he puts it P2 for 127.51. Not close to Pontic's 126, but he is the fastest 127s. Only 1/10 faster than Kirsch, pushing everyone down one position. Chicken puts medium tires on. Very confused about Chicken's strategy, but I believe he is locked in or something. Maybe he's just testing each tire, trying to decide which one's the fastest. I don't know. There is a yellow flag in Sector 2. However, it's probably just a driver going slow, not to impede another. Hopefully no one's in the wall. We are now currently watching a Lone Wolf, who should be on a lap. Going through into Sector 2, the long straight. Up 7/10 from his previous lap. This will not be an improvement. Hopefully this is an out lap, or he just needs to conserve his energy for the next lap. Josh, I believe, is not on a hot lap. If we go down to Trip Yachts, who is also not on a hot lap. Starnick, taking the corners quickly. Slight snap of oversteer, but it's okay. Possibly on a lap. We'll keep watching him. He's currently P10 next to his teammate Diamond Bullet. Yellow flag in Sector 3. Again, it's probably just impeding. Pretty good lap from the Starnick so far. This should be an improvement on his previous time. 8/10 down, however. I have no gauge of speed, sadly. So we'll move down. It's like a Steel Wolf, who's currently P13. Did not know he was racing. He's currently up 7/10. That will put him in competition for P9, P8, P7. Only Sector 1. He has more than enough time to keep making that speed up. He's in the Mercedes. The Mercedes are very excited to keep that constructors. They want to do their best in the joint championship. It's up to the tier 2 drivers, though, to put in the work, and Steel Wolf is more than happy. Across Sector 3, he is currently down, up 5/10. Should be an improvement into the last corner. Long straight ahead of him. No slipstream. That makes a difference. Getting a slipstream down this long straight will easily get you 4/10 up. Would not be surprised if a team tries to do a snap of oversteer into the wall. Oh, he saves it, but not enough. His lap is going to be over because of that. It sucks, but when you're finding the limit, things like that happen. 1.5 seconds down after that snap of oversteer. Pontic is still P1. Let me see, I'm getting information that can change spectator settings to get the lap data. I do not know if that's true. I have broadcast. I have fastest lap. No. All I can find is current. I can see sector changes, but I can't really see like the micro sectors. But it's okay. Keep that on. Turn this off. Actually, I don't want this. There's 4 minutes left in qualifying. Pontic is still P1 of his original time. Josh came in randomly and put his 127.5, putting a P2. Kursk and Rosewell in the pit still. They're both kick slobbers. Respectable times. P3, P4. Brian, P5 was 128 on an outlap. Let's change spectators. Watch Dazhart. Dazhart is a veteran from the last season of Golden Racing League. He is currently on a hot lap. He's 2 cents up into Sector 2's main straight. I believe Dazhart has what it takes to put it in the top 5 right now. He needs an absolute monster lap, but I think he can do it. Chicken has a P8 with his 128.47. Do not know when he achieved that, when he was mixing around with the medium, softs, wets, whatever. He found new tires. Dazhart comes across Sector 3. He is up 6/10. If he maintains that speed, he's already in the top 5. If he finds any more time, he can see his way into the top 4, maybe even P3 in the last corner. Absolute monster lap of Dazhar right now. Into the last corner, crosses the line. Almost gets impeded by Chicken. Hopefully it doesn't cost them no time. Across the line with a 127.0. P4 taking it from Rozowow. I did not meant to say 0.0 to 0.7. Great lap from Dazhar. Absolute amazing. Splits the Kicksaubers. I now need to invite a driver who's asking for an invite. Let me invite you now. You are... How long we need to invite for? Okay, it's only been 2 minutes. Okay. We're gonna now invite... Oh, I need to find the driver who this is. It's an issue here. 1 second, guys. Sorry. I believe it's Charlie. It seems like multiple drivers are now trying to get into the lobby. I'm sorry, but commentary might have to be cut off for just a couple seconds when I'm telling this. So let me go join my friends list and invite people. Am I allowed to make friends here at the current moment? Oh, I could. Okay, cool. To the driver, Molsky Verstappen, I'm trying to look for your name. However, I don't... Oh, let me look at your profile, actually. The current issue is that I can't see the profile name, so I have no clue who's who. So I'm gonna have to figure out if I can find out. Oh, there you are. I remember. I'm slow. I can't see. So most of the stuff now gets an invite. Let me see if I can deal with the other people. Currently, there's been no lap times. Pontic has very impressive P1. Josh with a surprising P2. Kirsch with his respectable P3. Dazhar out of nowhere with his P4 monster lap. P5 is Rozowow. Good teammate for Kicksauber. Sorry. Brian with his P6, keeping up with his Haas teammate. The Diamond Bullet with his respectable P7. I now got a friend request. Let me accept that person so they can get into the lobby. This person has just letters as their name. Very weird. Kind of cool, I guess. Let me try to invite the person who's just numbers. Pretty sure it's this person, because I don't know who that person is. Light Castle's invited. So, Mosey versus qualifying has ended. Pontic is P1, Josh is P2, Kirsch is P3, Dazhar P4. Already mentioned how they got their lap times. Roosevelt Brian still P5, P6. Starnick puts a P7 with his last lap. Alpine teammates are together, P7, P8. Very respectable from the Kicksaubers, the Alpine drivers. Lone Wolf P9 with Chicken P10. Trip Yachts P11. We saw him on his first lap earlier. Marshaller P12. Mayjpole P13. Steelwolf, Awizzy, and Molsky Verstappen are P14, 15, and 16 respectively. Great qualifying session. I think everyone had really good times. Molsky Verstappen sadly could not drive the car. I'm gonna call him Molsky. Molsky sadly could not drive the car because he had to leave due to an issue. Pontic does a faster lap with 126.3. Keeps his time, however. Mayjpole up to a P11. Qualifying is not over. I am sorry. Who just put it above? Chicken P5. I'm so sorry. Chicken's P5 now for 127.7. Roosevelt crossed the line. Let's see where he puts it. Can he reclaim his P3? Crosses the line. I have no clue where it's at. P7 still. Good laps from everyone. I'm sorry I could not watch the timing. I had to invite people. We are currently qualifying is over. Let me see if people were able to join the lobby, however. It looks like we're still waiting for people. The formation lap is going to start. One thing I've noticed this game is that there's an issue with trying to take control of an AI car. A lot of times, if you leave, try to rejoin the lobby, it just will not let you take the control of the car anymore. Snap of understeer from Pontic coming, leading the formation lap off track. Let's watch the interval, but I also want to see the tire they're on. Every driver is on the inters for this wet race. So with this wet race occurring, I think it's going to make this race way more interesting. Gonna try my best to commentate, look at the action. We have 16 cars on the grid, possibly 17. Very happy, very excited for the overtakes. Wet races reward certain drivers and punishes others. Some drivers just cannot race in the wet. Me personally, I do not like the wet. I am not a wet master driver. I think it's alright. Prefer dries, but it does make races interesting, I do admit. Here on the F125 game, we actually let the drivers race, unlike Spa in real life, which was a boring race, I'm not gonna lie to you. Very excited for turn 1. I expect something to go wrong. In the tier 1 race, we had a driver just dive bomb another car out of existence. Only one car was affected. Possible race strategies given by AWS, a 1-stop or a 2-stop. I advise for the 1-stop in my opinion. I do not think the tires changed that much. There was contact already. Made J-Pole and Steel Wolf apparently touched each other and were both sent to the starting grid again. They do not get thrown the tires up. It's very annoying because they punish both drivers. Doesn't matter who caused the contact. Josh overtakes Pontic in the formation lap. Wants to get it over with apparently. I already suspect one car gets absolutely taken out before turn 1, while one car going up 7 positions. That's my estimate. That's my guess as a commentator. Not going to be biased, but I am looking at possibly Diamond Bullet. I think Diamond Bullet's going to make it up into P4. As you see, people are getting disqualified. That's not because they're actually disqualified, but because they did not park the cars right. We're now going to have 5 red lights to the line, starting now. 5 red lights. The cars are ready for this wet race in Miami. Here we go. Josh has a good line. I can't see anything. Josh is side by side. Is it enough? It is enough for turn 1. Can he hold on for turn 2? There's cars going down. Steel Wolf is P16. Josh cuts the chicane. Has to give it back possibly. He is going slow. Gives it back to Pontic. Pontic. Lone Wolf has yellow flag penalty. He goes up to 6 positions right now. 10 seconds. Let's look at the information regarding positions changing. Currently, we have Josh, who's up into P1, taking it from Pontic. That's her up P1 position. Kirsch down. Starnick up 3 full positions. I bet on the wrong Alpine. Lone Wolf up P4, down. Now he's up 3. He just lost 1. He also has a penalty for ignoring yellow flags. He is fighting. Pontic is trying his best to get up to the back to P1. He is on Josh's rear wing. Is it enough into the first sector? Josh defends across the line is not enough. He has to wait to the main straight. Diamond Bullet is still P9. Brian is down 4. The McLaren, I do not know if it's being controlled by a driver or if it's an AI, is up 6 full positions. 7 now. I have no clue who's driving the McLaren. Doesn't even have a name. It's just McLaren. Diamond Bullet is now down 2. Wizzy up 3. Marshaller down 4. Verstappen up 1. He's not the actual Verstappen. Steel Wolf is down 2. So clearly some drivers did not have a good time. Most drivers are actually up multiple positions. It seems like something happened at the first corner that caused a lot of drivers on one line to improve. Sadly, it did not show us that. I do not know why. It decided to show me nothing. We're going to change it to TV pod so you can watch personal driving. I'm going to switch to a driver who's in the middle. Thinking of Lone Wolf. Probably get someone up who's higher up. Let's put Kursk on. Kursk currently fighting Dazhar for P3, that final podium position. Trip Yachts with a 10-second penalty, speeding in the pit lane as Kursk goes around Dazhar up into P3. As you can see right now, looking at Kursk, these drivers are struggling in the rain. There's no grip, tons of oversteer. They're trying their best to fight it. The racing line is different now. You have to brake earlier and have the car way more consistent. Lone Wolf up 5. The strategies are back again for some reason. Let's go back to broadcast. Kursk now has a 1-second gap to Dazhar. 2 drivers are in the pit lane already. Trip Yachts and Mayjpol. I'm suspecting that they had front wing damage. Front wing damage in Miami is already bad. Having it in a wet Miami is even worse. Diamond Bullet is down 6 positions from his P9. I wonder what happened. He was P9 after turn 1. He was actually the only driver to not move. And then coming into sector 3, he was down 2. Now he's down a further 4. And he's 14 seconds down. He did not pit. And he did not change tires. That's the same thing. I said it twice. Very confused. Rosie Wow and Chicken having a battle onto the main straight, side by side. Chicken is P7, down 2 positions from his P5. Crosses Rosie Wow. He has the inside line, should keep into this corner, and he does. Rosie Wow cannot compete. Is there a possible switchback? Not yet at the current moment. As you see, Josh has a 1-second gap to Pontic. He is currently the favorite to win it if he can keep this position. Pontic, who started P1 with this amazing qualifying lap, was not able to convert it past turn 2. He's now 1.1 seconds down. Kursk in P3, up 0 positions. He's actually qualified P3, my fault, I forgot. Is 2 seconds down on Pontic, 3 seconds down the race leader. Starnik having the race of his life, up 4 positions, started P7, up in the P4. He's currently leading the pack, but 3 cars behind him. Dazhar behind by Dazhar and Chicken being followed. Roosevelt in P7. I am struggling to talk. I'm sorry. I'm tired. Let me try to lock in real quick. Roosevelt, who has not moved to position, he qualified P7, still in P7. I believe he actually lost positions originally. He has made his way back up to his qualifying position, trying his best to follow the train. Brian down 2. Trying to catch up. Starnik, who qualified P7, up 4 positions, currently leading this train of drivers. It's very easy to defend in the rain due to the issue of overtaking safely. Miami does not have a good braking corner, in my opinion. You have to kind of send it. The main straight is a very good overtaking zone. However, there is no DRS right now. Chicken going for it into the inside line. And he should get the position on Starnik. He is now P4. Roosevelt tries to go for something. Unable to convert it. Possibly. Nope. Does not convert. It is too much. There's too much happening for me to watch right now. Steel Wolf, who was down multiple positions, up 4. Has a spin of oversteer. Is that enough to get the Ferrari on him? Does not look like it. Mosi is following behind. It looks like the midfield are having a great time right now with some drivers. Marshaller's up 1. The McLaren, who was up 7 earlier, is only up 4. Let's try to do a little reset right now so we can focus again. Back up to the new train leader. The new train leader is Chicken. He's actually making a considerable gap to the second driver in the grid. Who that Starnik, who was leading the train only 1 lap ago. Chicken, who qualified P4, is now... Yeah, who qualified P5 is now P4. This is a hectic race that even I am struggling to watch. I'm sorry. Josh is currently P1. We have Pontic P2. And Kursk P3. Chicken's currently entering the last straight onto the lap. He is leading the train now. He's 6/10 ahead of this driver behind, Starnik, who's going to try to get that position back from him. The train is slowly being gapped by the drivers ahead of them. The train is also slowly forming gaps between the drivers. This is currently, I think, the biggest train in the front. We also have a second train down below. Let's go look at them real quick. This train is being led by the Diamond Bullet, who is down 5. He's currently leading Wizzy, Trip Yachts, and Mayjapol, who are all close behind. Ahead of him is the McLaren, who I do not know is driving. It could be just an AI, but the helmet feels like it's a driver. So I believe it is our last driver who joined. Currently P13. Started dead last, up 4 positions. However, people did pit. Currently, our fastest lap was just set. I did not see who set it. Marshaller is currently P12. He's by himself at the current moment, being chased by the McLaren. Ahead is Mosi, who is currently fighting Steelwolf. Steelwolf somehow recovered. He was down multiple positions into turn 1. He's actually back up into P10, up 4. Mosi, who was last following qualifying, is up 5. So they're having a really good recovery drive so far. Mosi has the most overtakes done. However, it's only up to P11. Lone Wolf, who was P10, is now P9. Brian, who had a great qualifying following his Haas teammate, is down 2 into P8. He is in the train, however, I was talking about. He's with Rosie Wow, he's in with Dazhar, and he's with Starnik. Chicken, trying his best to leave this train, knowing that if he can leave it, he can try to keep that P4, is closely followed by Starnik, who is going to go for it. Into this corner, possibly outside line. I do not think it's going to work. However, the speed might be enough. It is not. Starnik is able to keep that P4. No switchback available. Starnik is now the leader of this train. Pontic is into the pits. An early pit stop from our race second place driver. He puts on slicks. Pontic is the first driver to put on slicks. It does not seem as this race is going to even have a dry section, but he put on slicks willingly. Very surprising. I do not even see a dry line. I wonder if there's something that he feels is different. The first driver to put on slicks is going to have a considerable gain over a lap. So if he's able to time it right and put on slicks at the proper moment, he could have enough time to get up to P1 again. However, as we were talking, Josh, who is our race leader, gets a 3-second penalty. Josh is on the inters. He's sliding, as you see. It is possible that the inters are just heating up too much. There's too much tire deg. And instead of waiting out on the inters, Pontic pits for hards to see what he can do. This decision puts him 8 places down. This is a win it or lose it type of situation. Pontic is betting that hards are faster. If hards are not faster, he practically just lost his top 5. If hards are faster, he pretty much wins the race. Lone Wolf for 3-second penalty, P7. Not a lot of penalties, considering Bahrain was full of penalties by lap 5. Right now, only 3, and then another driver gets 1, makes it 4. Steelwolf, 3-second penalty. Chicken, up into P3 now. He leads the train. He takes it from Starnik. Switchback is not possible. Chicken is a race leader. Starnik is close, though. He takes back the inside. A switchback did happen. It was late. Chicken is still close. He can go for it into this corner. Side by side. He takes it. He actually does take it. Starnik was faster coming out the corner, but he couldn't take it. Pontic speeding in the pit lane. Retires from the session. It seems like Pontic pits for hards. It wasn't worth it. He realized that he can't pit again. 10-second penalty, and he retires. Pontic is out this race. I am surprised. Pontic was second in the championship. He's 1 point down, and he throws away points. Dash over 3-second penalty as well. Chicken is now P3. The driver who was P2 retires. He moves from P4 to P3. He is now on the podium, but Starnik is also technically on that same podium because they keep fighting. Every time these drivers come onto the last straight, they keep switching positions. Starnik knows that if he can take it again and hold it for a little bit longer, he could get the P3 from him. There's still a whole race left. We are not, I think we're barely a third. I can't do math, never mind. We're not even a third into the race yet. Anything can happen, but right now, Chicken is in that podium position. Starnik can get the podium. Roosevelt is close. Honestly, anyone in this train with good strategy can take the position. Let's have a race recap real quick. Mayjpole is down the most positions, 5. Trip Yachts, down 3. Kirsch is first into the pits, besides Pontic. This is a good time to undercut. I believe Pontic is trying his best. Brian with a 10-second speed penalty. Oh my gosh. Kirsch takes fresh inters. Brian looks like he's serving his penalty. He is not. He is not serving it yet. He also takes fresh inters. He should come out P13. He's being passed by the train from earlier. That is devastating. 10-second penalty is not a minor penalty. It is a lot to get. It can change your position after the facts, especially if you don't serve it. A safety car coming out will ruin your race. Lone Wolf has the most penalties with P5. Who's in P5, he has 13. The McLaren driver of mystery, the mysterious McLaren driver, is P6 from dead last. If you look at the positions gain, I can't actually, I lied to you. There you go. Positions gain, he's up 11, or she's up 11. I do not know who it is. It's a literal mystery. Starnick up into P2 now in a position you actually don't expect an overtake. Before the chicane, this might give Chicken the chance to overtake onto the main straight. However, this is a good position to hold. Starnick up 6 from P7 is now in 2nd place. However, they are still 18 seconds down from Josh. Josh is P1. Everyone who is behind pit for a different strategy was unable to continue racing, like Pontic. Right now, they're almost a full pit stop away. According to my race information, drivers have a 20-second pit stop. So right now, he's 2 seconds away from a free pit. Roosevelt a 10-second pit right now. 10-second penalty for Roosevelt coming into the pits. The pit in Miami is very short. The moment you enter the pit lane, the time is right there. If you speed and you lose focus for a little bit, you will get the penalty. This is bad for Rosie. However, this is very good for Lone Wolf, as they also got 10 second. Anyone who gets a 10-second penalty is probably happy other people get it, just because it makes their 10-second penalty worth less, if you think about it. Currently, a lot of drivers have 10 seconds. Starnick down positions. Let me go watch them, as they have the most action. Lone Wolf, who was following the train in 3rd, is now up into 2nd, following Chicken. Chicken is hoping they fight. The more they fight behind him, the more he can gap. Chicken, who started the race, I believe P5, is up 3. I can look at. I could have just done the math by looking at the timing table, but whatever. He is now P2 on merit. He has not pit yet. However, drivers who have pit will have the ability to undercut. We'll see if it works. Chicken is P2. Lone Wolf P3 is going to attempt to go for the overtake right now. He's more than close enough. He's getting alongside before the corner. Whoever has the inside line usually keeps it. Does not seem like it's going to work. Chicken cuts across to get the outside line, and Chicken will continue to lead the pack in 2nd. P5 with the mysterious McLaren is doing a great race. If the mysterious McLaren, or I'm going to call him MM for now, if MM is able to keep up their performance, I see the position of a podium more than possible. Chicken loses it for a second, but keeps P2 still. Out from the pit lane is this Pont? Who is this? What are we watching? Josh coming out the pit lane, still on P1, on fresh inters, has pit 4 new inters, and is still currently leading the whole race. Chicken P2 has to pit still. Lone Wolf P3, Starnick P4, loses it to the mysterious McLaren, who is now P4. On the 2nd straight. This race is exciting. This is way better than Bahrain. However, my commentary is way worse. I actually could not focus right now. There's so much going on. Lone Wolf with a 3-second penalty. The action right now is insane. Lone Wolf going for the inside on Chicken. The McLaren's on Chicken already before the main straight even happened. Contact is imminent. They touch Chicken. He has a slight bit of car losing the rear. Amazing helmet, by the way. Chicken's trying to defend his position, but right now it looks like a McLaren 2-3. The McLarens are on fire right now. Lone Wolf and this mysterious driver. Chicken holds the inside line. He should be able to keep it into the corner. Lone Wolf has a snap of oversteer. Starnick is right behind, ready to take that position. Into the pits comes two drivers. Lone Wolf and Starnick both go for a different strategy. Chicken and who is the mysterious? Yeah, Chicken and the mysterious McLaren are still out. They stay out. McLaren number 2 cannot pit with McLaren number 1, as that will lose time. I do not think they're talking. I think they're both racing, and they just have to understand the fact that whoever leads gets the first pit stop. It seems as if drivers are going for a secondary set of inter tires at the current moment. I believe most people who have pit are going to stay for the for the one stop race. I do not think any driver is going to 2-stop. It's already kind of late, and I do not think 2 stops is worth it. Josh is currently P1. The mysterious McLaren is P2, and Chicken is P3. Kursk, who we have not talked about, is P4. Kursk is having his own race right now. He's only down 1 position from his original qualifying P3. Having a good race. He's up to P4 because the other 2 cars ahead pit. However, right now he could be overcutting. He could be having the better race strategy. Undercutting gets you the tire position first. However, it is possible the tire deck is not that bad, as you see Kursk go around the outside of Chicken, taking P3 from him. Actually, I do not know how old his tires are. It is possible that he already pit. I wasn't paying attention. He has, my fault. Kursk actually undercut Chicken. So Kursk on fresh tires takes back his P3. He's still a second down from the mysterious McLaren. However, the McLaren ahead pit. I do not know when they pit, but they have already pit. It was probably a lap 1 pit, which makes it even more impressive that the fact that this McLaren had a pit stop and was able to catch back up to the train of P2, P3, P4 and take it. Josh is currently P1 still. He is 3 seconds ahead of the McLaren behind. He is having his race. He's having a great race. His championship competitor retires. He is in the lead. He takes P1 into the first sector. It is a good race from Josh. The McLaren behind is having an even better race. Starts dead last, is up in the P2. Everyone that they're coming across is just slow according to them. They're having great overtakes into the high-speed corners. They're getting it on the straight. They're already pit, so they were down 20 seconds compared to other drivers, and they're already P2. Mosey Verstappen up into P7. He was last of the qualifiers. Let me see how many positions he's up. He has not pit, so he's going for a heavy overcut. But currently, he has the most positions gained, followed by our McLaren of 15 positions. Mosey Verstappen cuts a corner in front of us as we watch. 3-second penalty given. I believe every driver is going to finish race with a penalty. Marshaller, P12. Marshaller was the only driver, if I remember right, who finished the Tier 2 race without a penalty. I believe there's one more, but Marshaller had a great, clean race in Bahrain, and he is the first driver in the low field to benefit from these penalties. If he can keep up, he is currently 48 seconds down on the leader. If we watch interval, he's 14 seconds down. He has or has not pits. Nothing's to change. He has pit, but there are a couple drivers ahead of him who haven't. Marshaller is more than capable of gaining positions back because of penalties. Let's see if there's any close battles. Josh, Mysterious McLaren, and Kershaw all by themselves. Brian is with the second kick Sauber of Rosewell. 6/10 behind. If this was a dry race, he would have DRS. However, Rosewell has to fight in the corners in the rain. The best overtaking zone on this track is the main straight as it has enough time for the car behind to get a slipstream into the last corner. Whoever gets the better exit usually benefits the most into that main straight. Roosevelt might get it, will come back quickly. Starnick, who is the star of the midfield, starts P7, was up into P2, back to P6, has pit however, so right now they're going for a different race strategy, currently P6. Let's go back to the Kicksauber, mid straight, down a second currently, another 10-second penalty, and I believe this was given to the McLaren. The McLaren, who was having an amazing race so far, receives a 10-second penalty. I do wonder how drivers took advantage of the no park farm A. I don't know if I said that right, I'm not French. I believe that they were more than capable of putting dry setups on, and that would be the best idea. You do qualifying on a dry hot lap setup, and then for the race you switch to a wet setup. So that way you can have the most grip, least tire wear. I wonder if there's a driver or multiple drivers who were unable to change to a wet setup as they were not prepared, and they're driving on their low downforce regular Miami setup. If we look at the current standings, I wonder if Pontic did not have the right setup, and that's what they did enough. They were just unable to keep the race pace up with Josh. I believe Josh probably did have the right race setup, and that's why they're currently benefiting. They had the wet setup, they have the grip, they have the downforce. Kursk, who's currently P2. Again, I have no clue. It's kind of hard to judge as you do not know who is the right setup right now, but Kursk is currently P2 on merit. They already pit. They do have worn tires compared to the McLaren behind 3 seconds. However, they're up 1 position without a penalty. So Kursk is the highest no penalty driver, followed by Starnick, who's P6. That 10 seconds is not going to be good for the McLaren behind. They were having amazing race pace, but to be 10 seconds ahead of the car behind is a lot. A safety car, which we have not had. We have not had a virtual safety car or a regular safety car yet, which is very strange as this is a wet Miami, especially with drivers who are just aggressive. So good job from the drivers right now. No one has put anyone in a wall. That's actually very impressive. Chicken, P9, down 4 positions. He did pit, so he's currently just waiting to see when he can make those positions back up from the pit stop. Dashart behind, 2 seconds down, P6. Dashart had an absolute flyer of a lap, putting him P4. He's down to P10. Again, it is possible he just does not have a wet setup, or it possibly made a mistake. We do not know. Currently, though, he is following Chicken. I should have pit already. Kursk is pit. Kursk is passed by the mysterious McLaren. Currently P2 now. McLaren goes for the outside line. Not enough for Kursk to keep going. He falls behind. The McLaren will be P2, and they will have the optimal line out of the last corner onto the main straight. And they are gapping Kursk. The McLaren is gone. I have no clue what setup the McLaren is running. It is possible the McLaren is just running the default setup, and which it will probably be ultra downforce, but the McLaren's having a great time right now. It is also possible this is just an AI who's having the time of his life. That'd be very funny to learn this is just an AI. Kursk is currently P3 now because of that. Already 3 seconds down. In my opinion, that's enough information to tell me that the McLaren is running an ultra downforce setup and they're benefiting greatly, as the McLaren is having a great time in the corners. Roosevelt back in the P4. They were P4 in the qualifying session early on before they were overtaken by a lot of drivers, but Roosevelt is currently back next to their teammate in the Kicksaubers. This is an ideal position for Kicksauber to finish the race in, P3, P4. A lot of points. Currently, it looks like Josh is running away with the win. 15 seconds up. They have pit. If I was them, I would go for the race end. Oh! My gosh, Brian in the wall. Loses a part of the front wing. I have no clue what happened. It's possible he was tapped. He does not have a front wing now. This is honestly horrible for Brian. You cannot turn the car in these corners without a front wing. Brian, who I believe has or has not pit. I will need to check. Brian has pit and probably was not planning on pitting soon and now has to pit again for a new front wing and new tires. As we're talking, Wizzy gets a 10-second penalty. Wizzy is the V-Carb teammate of Trip Yachts. Pits for mediums and gets sent back a penalty. Wizzy is possibly hoping to succeed where Pontic failed in using slicks. However, even if he succeeds, a 10-second penalty is a lot to have. It's not something you can just lose. Currently, though, a lot of drivers have it, so it's possible they might benefit. In the pits comes one kickstopper, Kursk, who was the first kickstopper ahead. Josh takes the race, not Josh, the McLaren takes the race lead from Josh. It seems like Josh pits for new inters. To my knowledge, yes. So Josh pits for fresh inters. They get overtaken by the McLaren. This is the first time Josh is P2 since race began. So the McLaren's now P1 on 3-lap inters. Josh is behind on fresh inters, and Lone Wolf is behind Josh on 6-lap old tires. Roosevelt P4 with 8 laps. That's a good lap. It is possible, in my opinion, if you're under 10 lap old tires to finish the race on them. I don't know the tire deg, so I can't like confirm that. But I think if you're under 10, it's possible. Starnick is P5 with 6 lap old tires. Again, Starnick has no penalties. They have 0 threat of moving down right now because they have 0 penalties. If race ends under a safety car, Starnick might move up the most positions after the line finishes. Chicken retires! And there's a full course yellow! No! Chicken continues his DNF streak and causes a full course yellow. I believe we're under safety car or virtual safety car. Full course yellows. That is at the minimum a virtual safety car. No, the safety car is out. The safety car is out. I can't see it now. And our current race leader is now the McLaren because they were able to keep out. They have not yet. They have not pit though, however. I lied. Mosey is the race leader? I have no clue what's happening. Is this correct? Mosey is the race leader, however, I think there's retiring, so I don't think it counts. However, that's strange. The McLaren is now leading the safety car line into the final chicane. They are struggling on the inters. They're only 4 laps owed, however, they're struggling. Trip Yachts gets a penalty for 10 seconds. This is horrible if you have to take a penalty right now. It bunches the field back together and gives it more time. Trip Yachts retires in the pit lane. It's not worth it in their opinion. 10 seconds is a lot. Diamond Bullet and Steel Wolf into the pits. Josh on 1 lap owed inters. Pitted 2 laps too early. Josh could have stayed out and pitted in first. However, they didn't stay out. They came into the pit lane, got fresh inters, and now they're P3. I guess. I have no clue. I don't know how Verstappen is up in the P1. This is weird. So currently P1 is Moski, but I don't know how because they did not pit. They did not overcut. They were far down. I believe the game had a bug because from my point of view, Josh didn't pit. Josh stayed out. So I do not know how he got caught by Moski. I believe Mosky was actually lapped and the game just bugged out and gave him P1. So that's weird. Unless Mosky somehow overtook and I'm just like insulting him right now, I'm sorry. But I have no clue how you're P1. But currently, Mosky's P1, somehow. Josh is P2. The McLaren is P3. They finally pit. So even though Josh didn't stay out, he still gets to keep ahead of the McLaren. I do not know how he's been overtaken by the Ferrari, but it is what it is. Kursk is P4. I believe Kursk was also overcutting, so Kursk also got rewarded for his efforts. Lone Wolf P5. Starnick sadly tried to undercut and the safety car just ruined it. They're still P6, a good position. However, P6 is not the same as the possible P4. Or even earlier, Starnick was running up until P2. So, very sad, but a good run from Starnick still. Still no penalties, so anything could happen still. Brian, P7, currently 30 seconds off everyone else somehow. I don't know how. They're in the train, but whatever. Roosevelt, P8, behind Brian. So, honestly, the safety car had an effect on a lot of drivers. However, if you go on the P14, Wizzy is on wets. So, I do not know. It is possible for wets to be faster for a time. I just believe that inters are usually always the faster tire. Even if wets are faster, wets usually just become slower as the track has a dry line. But who knows? Maybe Miami will be the race for the wets to drive. I don't remember the last time I've seen a wet in an actual race. In real life. No one uses wets. They're kind of useless. Someone's asking for an invite. I never... Don't know who that is though, so I can't invite. Oh, Josh asking for an invite. Let me invite Josh. I'm suffering. Where's Josh at? No. Is this Josh? No, it's not Josh. According to drivers, the lobby is bugged. I have no clue how it's bugged. I'm trying my best to figure it out. However, I'm gonna need to figure something out real quick. I took a picture of currently where the standings are as the safety car progresses. However, there is an issue of I do not know currently how the lobby is bugged. And that's my fault. It currently seems like I'm struggling to invite people. It is honestly a very weird scenario. If someone could inform me how the lobby's wrong. Ah, I see. Okay. So it seems as if the lobby got bugged out when Mosey retired in the pit lane. And now they're P1. The safety car is in this lap. I am going to, at the current moment, maintain this race and move the Ferrari down. Just because I do not know the effects after this the safety car. If the only lobby bug is the Ferrari's P1, that can be fixed after the fact. However, if there's further issues. Ah, okay, that's fair. Okay, so we're gonna reset the lobby now because apparently the top 5 are a lap ahead of everyone else, and that's not fair. So the race will end. I'm gonna leave this lobby right now. If you're still in the lobby, please leave. Sorry about that. 1 second. A picture has already happened. And the formation lap is underway. The current order is as you see right now, with Josh P1 and Awizzy P11, all the way down. Currently, this is great chances for points right now for the Williams driver. Good chances for points for Awizzy and the V-Carb. Sadly, not everyone joined the lobby. Roosevelt is currently 6th. You are 6th because as the safety car ended, you were in the position of 8th. You're now up 2 positions though because 2 people did not join. Currently, the cars line back up, starting our new race. Josh P1. Let me see if I can get a better view of another driver. Actually, I keep it Josh, actually. Josh is P1, the McLaren P2. Second McLaren is P4, Kirsch P3, Roosevelt P6 with Brian P5. 5 lead rights go on. And we are away. Good start from the McLaren, up halfway to Josh right now. We cannot see turn 1. The McLaren should have into turn 1. They do not. Contact. Josh keeps ahead. No damage so far for either driver. Josh is front. The McLaren is close second. Lone Wolf retires the 4th McLaren. The McLaren in P4 is out the race. The McLaren who had a 2-3 race did not gonna finish. He is not happy in chat. I don't know what occurred, but sadly, he is out. Brian is up into P4, with Roswell now up into P5. Lone Wolf blaming Dazhart, who is currently P6. There was damage I did see. I saw a front end plate. It looks to be, yes, it does belong to Dazhart. Kirsch, who is currently P3, being gapped by 1 second. Currently have race strategies for this new dry race. Because it's a red flag, technically you should not be forced to pit. However, the game does not know that, so you still had to pit. Diamond Bullet is P10. If you finish this race now, you are in the top 10. Lone Wolf is upset at Dazhart. I was unable to see what occurred. Currently, it seems there's been very minor position changes. Let me see the leader and interval. So currently, Kirsch is into the pits, actually. Kirsch into the pits. Wonder if he has damage. He comes into the pit lane with damage, as you see ahead of him. He's getting a new front wing. Pitting for hards. He's going till the end from here. Dazhart stays out on his broken front wing. So the gap between P2 and P3 is gone now. Brian catches back up. Brian is now P3. He's on the podium. Roosevelt's P4. They claim that they've been unfairly placed P4 after the red flag. Do not know if that's true or not. I was unable to investigate. I had to go off the picture and people were telling me. Hopefully that's not true or I'll feel bad, or hopefully if it is true, Roosevelt could gain back that position up into P4. P3. Owizzy is P5. They were actually last when the race started. They're currently up 6 positions from 11th up into 5. A good restart from Owizzy. Dazhart, P6, will probably have to change their front wing. They have the pace, but they have absolutely no front wing right now. The McLaren moves up into P1. And they make contacts. The McLaren almost into the wall. Josh surprisingly does not have any visible damage. I do not know how Josh got away with that. Let me check. It seems as if he has both end plates still. From my point of view, he was in the wall. I was honestly more than capable of just losing an end plate. I'm very surprised, very happy for him. Roosevelt gets around Brian. He takes back the position he claims to be his. He is now P3. Hopefully that this does not affect his race. He can keep going. If he truly deserved to be on that P2 podium, he will probably then speed up to get it. Good race, good overtake from him. Brian stays ahead behind. 4/10 down into the second straight. DRS is activated though, so he's capable of trying to get that position. Marshaller and Dazhart into the pits. This was the chance for the Williams to get high points. This is still a chance to get points, however, he comes into the pit. He does not pit for a new front wing, but just new tires. I wonder if his goal is just to maximize those hards until the pit stop. I do not know what his goal is, but he comes into the pits early for hards. I wonder why. Lone Wolf leaves the session. I'm very sad to see him leave. I really hope that he was able to finish the race. They were having a great race, the McLarens. They were at 1.23 in the standings. Now one retires. However, the reserve McLaren, I do not know who their name is up into P1. 2.5 seconds ahead of Josh, having a great race. Absolute amazing, starting from dead last up into P1. Marshaller comes out the pits last. They are doing their best on the hards. Dazhart comes out ahead. I actually wonder what happened to Marshaller. They're last, but they came into the pits with Dazhart, is my knowledge. So Dazhart is ahead. 2 seconds down on Kirsch. Kirsch came into the pits earlier. Wait, no, did they? Kirsch pitted for new tires and a fresh front wing. I do remember that now. I forgot. Diamond Bullet is P7. They are 8/10 down on Meiji Pole, P7 right now. Their teammate had the race of their life, however, they could not join back before the race began. Is it Diamond's Bullet turn to convert that Alpine greatness, get the Ferrari position, and keep moving up? Owizzy, who was down in 11th, dead last, is up P5. Great race from him. He is leading the Ferrari, who was being attacked by Diamond Bullet. This is his chance for good points. Brian, still with Roswell, or Rosie. Rosie, a second down on Josh. Josh, who is being gapped by our new race leader, the McLaren. I do wonder if Josh sustained minor damage because of that wall conflict. I do not know. Currently, though, his car looks okay. I do not see any physical damage. Like, there's no end plate or the sides missing. However, it is possible he got minor damage. I just can't tell. But at the current moment, he looks okay. He is still being gapped by the McLaren, who does have amazing pace. However, it's only been 2 laps, and he's already 4 seconds down. Red flag, yellow flag. Over here, the McLaren is sideways, scraping the wall. Do not know what happened here. Is it his fault? Did he spin out? Did he get touched? Currently, the car ahead is the Diamond Bullet, who goes ahead. They were behind. Now they're behind their new driver, Owizzy. He's still possibly... He's 4 seconds down. Josh is being further gapped by P1. He is 5 seconds down now. I believe he has to have some type of damage. It's not looking good for Josh right now. I am being added in chat once again. Some drivers are very upset with the red flag. I understand you're upset. However, I do my best to save the replay. However, if I save the race replay, I do not think I get the full race result. I think I just get like whatever driver I was watching. So I'll try my best to save the replay for you. Thank Lone Wolf. Marshaller is a minute down. They're currently P10. I wonder what has occurred. They're currently ghosted. Not seem to be having a good day for the Williams driver who shorted P5. Dazhart is currently P9. 2 seconds down on Kursk, who is P8. I'm being told to invite someone. Let me there real quick. Another Diamond Bullet retires from the race. They are in the wall. I do not believe it was an incident between two drivers. A safety car comes out. I think this is a full safety car. It is a full safety car. Good time to invite someone. I'm being told to invite Lone Wolf, who is... Oh, there we go. A full course safety car comes out. Currently, I have our first penalty. Drive-through penalty by the Ferrari, given for speeding. Majipol now goes into the pit lane. Thankfully, does not get a second penalty. That's Hartford 3-second penalty as well, P6. Currently, P1 is Owizzy. Owizzy who pitted earlier, I believe, or has not pit. If you look at the tired information, Owizzy has not pit. They're the only car to not pit. They stay out. Very surprising. But this is a new race leader with Owizzy. Currently, P2 is the super quick mystery McLaren. Roosevelt P4, Ryan P5. Everyone has now pit. Even Kirsch has pit twice. Marshaller stays out, does not pit. The safety car should end at around lap 9. I think minor contact was just made, but I don't think it was that big of a deal. That's hard. Yeah, never mind. No contact. Owizzy is now our race leader under safety car, who comes into the pits. A good decision from Owizzy. If he does not pit now, it would have been a horrible race. Even the race might... The field might pass him, however, he's still going to be with the field. He puts on softs. This is an absolute destroyer of tires, this track, and softs is going to get killed. However, if he can keep the softs alive until the race restart, he can make good positions and hold it from there. 2 cars are out. The Diamond Bullet running his one-off livery. And Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf taking out turn 1. Diamond Bullet goes into the wall. Naomi is our new race leader. I just learned her name because someone in chat. After a Wizzy Pitts comes out P7. He has softs. Josh P2, Roosevelt P3. Roosevelt moves into that podium position after his incident. Brian is down to P8. I wonder what occurred as he was behind Rosie earlier. Brian is currently P8, who was P5 when race began, moved up to P4, now down to P8. Race control says safety car in this lap. Rosie, who is P3, is going to try his best to move up into P2. I believe they're the only driver in the train not to get P2. I know Chicken did. Star Nick, who was a star earlier, 0 penalties given. Sadly could not rejoin, was also P2 at one point. Naomi's going to lead this race. Naomi leads the race, no questions asked, no movements made, everyone keeps with their positions. Brian gets a 3-second penalty for track limits. Naomi is 5/10 up, Rosie 8/10 down, Dazhart 1.3 seconds down already with his penalty and is gaining. Josh gets a 3-second penalty, not good, as even if you overtake someone, you have to now gap him by a whole 3 seconds. Rosie now has their sights on P2 right now. As long as they can stick with 3 seconds. Dazhart, who had a 3-second penalty, after implemented, should be around P7. Marshaller is P9. They were unable to catch up before the safety car came back in. This is still points position. However, they're not going to be with the lead. A Wizzy gets a 3-second penalty. Wizzy, sorry, not Wizzy. Wizzy gets a 3-second penalty. A snap of oversteer. Oh my gosh, almost into the wall, but Naomi's able to recover. Josh falls right behind. This is enough for Josh to possibly get DRS. However, he's still down. DRS has not opened yet. I don't know if it's opened this actually. It might not be open this lap. Awizzy up 1 position on Brian. Awizzy, who was race leader, pit for softs, currently is probably the fastest man on softs because he's the only one on softs, actually, my fault. He moves up 1 position. He's up in the P6. A good race position for the V-Carb drivers right now. Good drive so far. Sadly, could not stay in P1, but he had to pit eventually. I do wonder if the softs are gonna last until race end. He's catching up to Kursk, but Kursk is on the medium tires, which should be more than capable of finishing already. Dazhart, who is P4, he's being followed by the Kickslobber. He had been gapped by another, so he's being squeezed by 2 Kicksobbers. One's already gone, the other behind, trying their best to get it. Again, at one point the Kicksobbers were 2-3. But it seems like a lot of cars were actually a double podium. Sadly, things happen. Rosie currently looking at a P3 finish, actually looking at a P2 finish after penalties. Kursk is trying their best to get P4 so they can be with their teammate. Awizzy is moving though onto Kursk on a random corner too, not even on the straight, it was a corner. Kursk gets Awizzy on the softs, is having the time of their life. Do wonder if the tire is going to eventually kill them at one point. I do not suspect that that tire is having a good time, but they are. The Kickstopper tries to go for an overtake, and it does. But the switchback happens. Brian has the worst exit out of all of them, is not able to keep up. He stays on track, thankfully, does not hit the wall. Awizzy gets the switchback because of the soft grip. He covers the inside. He goes for the inside. Rosie went for a good overtake, could not convert it. Goes wide. Awizzy is going wide, however, it seems who got the time penalty? Unrelated time penalty for Naomi. Sorry, I got distracted. Awizzy, who's having amazing grip, seems to have it dying as he's going wide in the first corner. Trying their best to keep up with Kursk. They are in DRS zone still. They might get it, however, that exit onto the main straight did not look promising. Kursk able to reclaim their P5 on the medium tires. They should last the rest of the race. They should be fine. It's a Wizzy who is gonna be struggling for tire wear. It seems to be it's punishing him now. Josh is P2. Currently, though, even with the penalties, it seems to be Naomi is winning. Josh is moving up in the order. Josh was also on softs. Actually, looking at it, more cars were on softs than I actually thought. I thought it was just a Wizzy, but Josh and Rosie were both on softs. It was Naomi who picked hards, which is weird because she picked a tire that was going to last a long time, even though it was not going to be that long of a race after safety car ended. But Naomi will be leading the race on hard tires, followed by Josh, whose tires are soft and slowly dying. So are Rosie's, they're slowly dying. Dazhart made the same decision, started on hards. I wonder why. I might have missed the safety car period because it must have been their decision, as right now they are perfectly fine on these hards. They should last a long time. Dazhart actually did pit early, so he's probably on the same hards, which he actually is. So he probably just didn't pit under safety car, gave him track position. The Kick Sauber right here, P5 on 5-lap mediums, is on Dazhart. At the current moment, it is on the lap change of if it's between faster or harder medium. So the faster the Kick Sauber overtakes, the better. A Wizzy on 4-lap softs. He's actually on the freshest pair of softs compared to the other two. Not having a good time right now. He was fighting the Kick Sauber at one point, but right now the tire deck is too bad. He's being left behind. However, he made a gap to Brian, who had a bad exit. Mayday Pole spun out in that one corner, and they're down 10 seconds. Marshaller did not have a good time with the safety car. They were unable to catch back up, and they're now a minute down. They will finish the race, so that should be good. Kursk overtakes the Mercedes. The Mercedes has the inside line. They will get the position back. However, the switchback is possible. Kursk on the inside, forced to cut the corner. Side by side, maybe no. Kursk will have the DRS into the first corner. On the inside line, the overtake is done with contact. However, 3-second penalty given. I don't know how, as they were racing side by side on the corner. Very weird. Dazhart moves down a position. Penalties, let's see. 3-second penalty for Kursk. However, Dazhart also 3-second penalty. Rosie does not have a penalty. However, they are falling out of 3 seconds of Josh, who has already gapped by 3.6. Rosie is also on softs, so it's not as if they're on different tires. It's just that at the current moment, Josh has a faster pace. Dazhart reclaims his P4. Kursk down to P5. It is possible if it was an appealable situation, Kursk could appeal his 3-second penalty to regain P4. Owizzy is currently P6. They started the race P11. Was at one point leading the race. They're down in the P6, however, that is still a very respectable race for the VCarb driver. Good race for VCarb. Sadly, it's only one. Most teams only have one driver right now, besides the Kick Saubers, who take back P4 from Dazhart. The Kick Sauber is now next to his teammate on the medium tire. Final lap. There's going to be 2 overtaking zones after this. I wonder if Kursk can defend. Williams are having a great race in terms of their cleanness. They are currently no penalties right now. There were no penalties on the last red flag. I wonder if they have penalties in tier 1. I actually don't know. But right now, Williams is having a good race, keeping it on track. They might not have the pace right now, but it's a good race from them. The Ferrari is 6 seconds down. Brian has a time penalty. He did start P5 down to P7. VCarb, great race from them. Dazhart is trying his best to reclaim it. He is unable to get it. Maybe actually, no. He is not going to get it onto this corner. He has 1 straight left to get the overtake done. snap of oversteer from Dazhart. Kursk has to absolutely nail his corner exit so he can keep that position. He's actually not in DRS range anymore. So Kursk does not have to worry about DRS. He has to worry about the slipstream now. He is currently 2 seconds ahead of Dazhart. That should be enough. I think that's enough. And the race winner is Naomi, who comes across the line, does a little hit the wall, you know, it's just a flex. Naomi is the race winner, followed by Josh, who does not hit her. Rosie in P3 takes the position. Kursk in P4 kept it cool, takes P4 away. Dazhart P5. Wizzy, absolute amazing race from him, finishes P6. Brian P7. The Ferrari, who had a slight issue in that corner exit, will come home P8 with the Williams a lap down. That is the end of our race. Naomi, who started dead last in the first race, up into P2 to the red flag, finishes the race from P2 in first place. Great race from, what's it called, Naomi. Amazing race from Josh. I'm being told the Williams had rear wing damage, and the fact that they finished is even more incredible. You cannot do anything with rear wing damage. That thing sucks. So good race from the Williams. No penalties. Let's figure out what happens after the penalties. I'm going to have to add penalties from the first race. So there can be even more penalties right now. I have no clue. But we'll see right now. Absolute amazing race. Way more entertaining than Bahrain. More entertaining than the Tier 1 race, in my opinion. Probably deserved a better commentator. Maybe 2. But the driver of the day is going to be the V-Carb of a Wizzy. From 11th to 6th. From race lead to 6th. Good job. Here are our standings from the race. Lone Wolf and Diamond Bullet are the only drivers that not finished this race. There was 3 drivers earlier. Marshaller rounds out the points finish. He was a lap down. However, with rear wing damage, you can't do anything about that. May J. Pole, P8. Ryan from P5 to P7. Wizzy, absolute masterclass. Dazhart, P5. Kursk for the first 2 kick sobbers to finish 3 and 4. Josh P2 from pole. He qualified P2, led the red flag from P1, ended P2, and Naomi from dead last to first in Miami. I was unable to save the Michi play. I was not given the option. I'm very sorry. But I believe other people would also save it. So if there's any incidents, please save it so you can send it in. Even if you're not involved, it's good to have. Thank you so much for watching.